Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you could have first heard this episode 9 months ago if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that will get right on your ticks.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hot Body Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I'm Sam Nifty Delaney. So what?
Welcome along. It is the second part of the Roobarb Odyssey. We're looking at the classic 1970s 5-minute animation Roobarb, and specifically the first episode of it. A little bit more background before we get into the actual episode itself. There's a few little things we can look at. These were like 5-minute long episodes, and they used to be on just before the 5:45 BBC Evening News. I don't know if you remember that. And there was other classic series that were of the same length were The Magic Roundabout and The Wombles, and to a lesser extent, do you remember The Perishers?
Yeah. Oh, I'd forgotten about them.
With their big fucking shaggy dog.
They all talk like that.
Yeah.
Come on, what are we done mucking about for?
That was it.
They all had snotty noses.
The Perishers used to be the cartoon strip in the Daily Mirror, which I used to read when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
They converted it into a TV show, and Leonard Rossiter did the narration on it.
Oh,
maybe we should be deep diving the frickin' Perishers.
Well, we'll do that next. The Perishers. I'd totally forgotten about it. And Perishers is just a brilliant name. It's a brilliant thing to call people, isn't it? You rotten little Perisher.
It feels like a kind of an indie group from 2003.
Yeah, the Perishers, yeah.
Alongside the
They're
Libertines.
on Soccer AM. They existed just to be guests on Soccer AM.
The Perishers. Yeah, we should write a fictionalised history of the Perishers as a group. So, yeah, and this was always the best bit of the kids' TV oeuvre for me. It was right at the end. Like I say, it used to be on at 5:40, just before the news, because the news was only on from 5:45. You only got 15-minute evening news bulletin back when I was a lad. And you know what? We were better off for it. Our mental health was a lot better because we weren't exposed to news around the fucking clock.
Way too much news now. Way too much news and not nearly enough short-form cartoons.
This is not old men shouting at clouds. This is just provable fact. If you expose people to less horror from around the world,
we just want the world to be full of more joy. And the Perishers, and particularly Rhubarb and Custard, is going to give you a lot more joy than seeing old Hugh Edwards with his grim face on going on about, recession or global warming.
At the very least, the Ukraine, etc., etc. I mean, I've said for many years now that the BBC 10:40 on a Thursday night instead of Question Time just put on an hour of Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah.
What's going to be better for all of us?
I'm Hugh Edwards. The war still rages in Ukraine, but now the Perishers.
Now, let's catch up with the latest antics of Dougal and Florence and Zebedee over at the Magic Roundabout.
Wonderful.
It was great. It was your last big hit of kids TV fun before adults took over the telly at 5:45 and everything went to shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's probably a dive to be done into the Magic Roundabout because it was Emma Thompson's dad who he rewrote the scripts entirely.
Oh, because it was French, wasn't it?
It was French. He just
So
got
did he
them.
change the stories? He didn't stick to the plot that they'd had in France.
I don't think he even spoke French. He just got them from France.
And
he went, fuck this.
Fuck this, I'll do it myself. You can't have a French plot line, not for English kids. A, no one's going to understand it. B, it's just not right. It'll fill their fucking heads with all sorts of French nonsense, won't it?
Ideas about garlic and stuff.
It's probably all about fucking shagging. And that's not in this country. Over there, you might teach your kids about shagging from the moment they can fucking walk, right? But not here. Wine. Here, we try to never reveal to our kids the existence of shagging. Let them find out for themselves.
Ever. Yeah, by accident, probably.
Yeah.
They'll just start doing it, not know why. But yeah, 70% of the Magic Roundabout French episodes were all about garlic acquisition. That's what it was mainly. It was produced by the French Garlic Board.
There's probably loads of philosophy in it as well, wasn't there? 'Cause they're always philosophising, the French. They'd have probably slipped a load of that in. If it's not garlic, it's fucking. If it's not fucking, it's philosophy. And if it's not that, it's smoking fags. And actually, put it all together, and that's like the fucking ultimate French show. Fair enough, but not for us, not for the kiddies.
Put it all together, it sounds great.
Does sound good, yeah.
Compared to what we
garlic,
have in
fucking
general.
philosophy and fags. Yeah, but it's not for the kids. That's the thing. You know, they're giving their kids fucking wine at about the age of 6 months over there. It's not on, mate.
Yeah.
It's not on.
I read somewhere yesterday, you know, that's still the law where you can give a kid over the age of 5 booze in your own house.
Yeah.
Someone is trying to have that abolished. And I, you know...
How do you police it, mate?
Well, I don't know. Do you give your kids booze?
I give my I allow my daughter to have booze occasionally, like if it's a particular occasion. Like when we were on holiday, she was with her mate. Her mate's a year older than her, and so when we were in the pub, I'd get them a bit of wine with fizzy water
pissed.
in. No, I'd say you can have like a drink, 2 drinks, something like that. You know, but I don't. You know, I neither encourage it nor discourage it. I try to stay neutral about it, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's currently legal for children and teens aged 5 to 17 to drink in a private home, and a doctor, no less, health lecturer Dr. Eric Sigman, warns it makes them more likely to become addicted in adulthood and increases the risk of problems such as cancer, liver disease, and damage to the heart and brain. I guess there's no real argument against that, is there? No. Alcohol's a terrible thing.
It is really bad for you. It's much worse for you. I mean, I don't like to go into this, but the thing about alcohol is it's so heavily marketed that, like, it's just supposed to be like a lifestyle thing. But the thing is, it's really bad. I mean, it's as bad as fags in terms of the health outcomes and stuff. But no one talks about it because they're big booze, as it's called. Big booze. Big booze. Big boobs is another fucking huge industry, right? That has a large, continues to have a large influence over our life, right? In a shadowy way through the money that they invest in all of them think tanks, right? Booze and boobs. Big booze, big boobs. You go down that street, what's it called in London, where all the think tanks are set up, and you'll find they call themselves something else, of course. They call themselves like Global Institute for Mammary Research, right? Yeah. But we know that is just big boobs by another name. And then there's another building down there called, the Intelligent Alcohol Unit, right? Think tank, innit? But really, that's just big booze.
Drink tank, more like.
Drink tank. Yeah.
So that's the thing now. They're going to try and overturn that. It means you can't give your kids booze. I'm looking at a page about it on the... I'm sorry, it's the Sun website. It was the first result that came up. And there's a picture of a young boy
Every
who looks
Scouse listener we have, which by this stage is probably one at best, has just fucking cancelled their IFS.
Just throwing his podding machine into the
and rightly so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And there's a picture of a kid with a massive glass of wine that pretty much covers his entire face, and it's got a little bit of red wine left in the bottom of it there, and he's having a good sup on it. Terrible, terrible, terrible. We don't want that. We're completely against big booze and big boobs on this podcast. And we're not ashamed of it.
No, look. So they're separate. I got no problem with big boobs, or indeed gigantic boobs, or even medium-sized ones,
or small ones,
small ones too. We've got no problem with any of those. I encourage them. All I'm saying is I don't like it when big business gets involved, right, and starts using the money generated by those boobs to influence our lawmakers in a way that I perceive to be undemocratic.
We don't want that booze or those boobs rammed down our throats, is what we're saying.
No, absolutely not, because it's a choking hazard.
And that is the Top Flight Time Machine stance. Stance.
T-shirts coming soon.
Forgot how I got into that. Oh yeah, the 5:40 cartoon on the BBC. Did you listen to the recent episode of Rock on Tours that had Mike Batt?
No, I didn't listen to it. No, is it good? Okay, I'll listen to that.
Mike Batt's always good value. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, he wrote the theme tune for the Wombles TV show.
Yeah.
And I think instead of getting paid for it, they were going to offer him like 200 quid for doing it.
A free Womble.
And he said, "Give us the rights. You give me the rights to the Wombles singing songs, and I'll
so
pass
all
on
of
the
their
200
musical
quid."
output in perpetuity remains the property of Mr. M. Batt.
That's correct. Yeah, he saw an opportunity.
He's done a fucking Alec Guinness like Alec Guinness did with the Star Wars figures.
They just asked him to do an instrumental for the theme tune originally, and he went, "Oh, you need a song. You need a song so that the kids and the adults know what it's all about."
It's exposition. It'll save you fucking ages in the show itself. You can get straight into it. Say what they do. What do? They hang around on the common, gathering fucking rubbish up and putting it to good use. Fine, I'll make a note of that and I'll go and bag a song out about it.
And he did. And as I say, he took the rights to the musical rights to the Wombles instead of a cash payment, and they had about 8 top 40 hits as the Wombles.
8? That's amazing.
There was loads of them, yeah.
The thing about the Wombles is, I think that they embody a lot of what we try to stand for on this pod, in that they're sort of they embody stray men. They also embody the sort of timbrel free man of the land kind of thing, don't they? They've opted out of society. They've gone off grid. I mean, obviously we know where they are. They're on Wimbledon Common, which, as it happens, is not that far from me. But, we know where they are. But effectively, as far as the authorities are concerned, they're off grid. I would think it's very unlikely indeed that Great Uncle Bulgaria paid a fucking penny of tax in his whole life.
I don't think he's got a national insurance number. Yeah,
no, put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. They're living the just rest lifestyle, but also living out loud.
Yeah, they just do what they want. You know, they fucking live how they want, and they're not bothering anyone. And part of me thinks, why should they pay tax? Because they are not actually using any of the public services, really, are they? I mean, I suppose that you could argue that the common is maintained by, I guess that's probably maintained by the council, unless it's maintained by the Crown. Like Richmond Park's maintained by the Crown.
It's Wimbledon Common, isn't it? So I don't know whether that would come under the
Crown,
the Duchy of Westminster or whatever it is. That owns
I'll have a look into
it.
I don't know if they maybe had an arrangement with them or, But again, they were doing a lot of that. They were keeping the fucking place tidy by gathering all the litter, mate.
It was a quid pro quo situation, wasn't it? Really, they were being allowed to stay there in their fucking cave or whatever it was they lived in, and in return they kept it all tidy.
Yeah.
Wimbledon Common is owned by the Wimbledon and Putney Commons Conservators, which is a registered charity.
Oh.
And it's managed on a day-to-day basis by a staff of 23 under the guidance of the chief executive. I don't know if that was the case in the mid-70s.
I'll tell you what, mate, it's an
now.
Absolutely cracking common. And when I get my new doggy, not long from now, it will be a regular. I want to invite people trying to approach me and my doggy, but I've already planned out a lot of my walking places. Right. And Wimbledon Common, which is only about like 15-minute drive from me, that's going to be that's going to play a big part in my life going forward.
Well, before you do it, please look on the website, because there's a section which is entitled Important Information for Dog Owners / Walkers. So you need to read that.
I don't like rules. I don't like being told what to do, and I like to follow my gut instinct. And when I get my dog, that's how I'm going to roll.
You're kind of a jazz walker.
When I get my dog, I mean, you got to remember, the only dog that I ever had, Bella, we used to just, if she needed a walk, I was talking to my mum about it the other day. If she needed a walk, we let her out. Yeah. And when she wanted to come back in, she'd just fucking bark at the door. And I used to always I wonder how she decides it's time to go home. She'd go out the front, run around near the A4 a bit, bark at the cars and whatnot. Go in the bushes, have a sniff about. And then do you ever wonder when a dog thinks itself, I've had enough of this, I'm a bit bored, I might go home. Like, do dogs get bored? Do you know what I mean? Like, the dog's gone, I'm going to go, I'll just go and bark at the door so they'll let me back in. I'll see if anything's going on in there.
Jalapeño. Jalapeño.
I think the dog would either be A, hungry, or B, would be maybe missing you a little bit.
Oh, yeah, she did miss us.
That's why she'd go
Because
home.
even though we didn't raise her or in a conventional way, she did, I think she did love us. And so, so anyway, you got to think that's my benchmark is how we looked after Bella, right? Which was very jazz style. And I'm not going to be like that because, to be honest, there's no way my missus would go with the sort of what I call the Delaney method of dog rearing.
No,
right?
not these days. No.
She's got herself a book, mate.
All right.
I've seen it. She got herself a book from up the library about how to raise a puppy. I laughed and laughed and laughed. What do you want this for? A fucking book? You don't need a fucking book to tell you how to raise a puppy. You give it a tin of food in the morning, take it out for a shit, that's it. What more do you need to know?
Just fucking jazz it out.
Yeah. If it starts barking, you kick it up the arse and lay it out front for a while.
You don't need to train them. They'll just fit in.
He'll if he knows what's good for him, he'll fit in, I tell you that. Yeah, so I'm just going to go out and see what happens. Do you? Will there be any confrontations with other dog walkers, or will I make friends with them?
It depends on the nature of your dog. It depends on your nature. If you're going out with headphones on and you're not approachable, then you're not going to make friends.
All right.
What's
the scene? What's the scene?
Well, the thing is, Oscar's quite aggressive towards most dogs.
Right.
Irrespective of their size, especially the small ones. He'll try and bark at them and he'll try and throw himself at them.
Is that embarrassing? It does.
But a lot of small dogs are the same.
Right.
And it's like small man syndrome.
Right.
They're a little bit feisty and a little bit aggressive. So he's generally not that friendly with other dogs. And then when he goes somewhere like the groomers, or when he goes to his dog hotel and he has to deal with other dogs close up, he bricks it. He completely bricks it.
Yeah, he's all mouth, isn't he?
He's all mouth, yeah.
A lot of dogs are all mouth.
So it depends on your dog. I mean, some dog owners are a little bit full on, I think.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, they're just so into their dogs. There's a big fetishization of dogs these days.
Yeah.
So many
our fur baby. My fur baby.
That's where I draw the line, the fur baby thing.
Yeah, it's not a fucking baby, it's a dog. Man only ever fucking invited dogs into home as workers.
It's a beast of burden. It's meant to be out there pulling the plough.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
The field.
Never mind all this baby stuff.
Or pulling your trolley down to the shops so you can fill it up with, tins of
get ladies trying to fucking breastfeed their own dogs and it's not on.
No, not at all. Especially not in public. Cafes and things and pubs, we're dog friendly. Well, be careful what you wish for. I mean, there's a great bookshop in Northumberland called in Alnwick called Barter Books. I think I recommended it.
Oh yeah, you told me about it. Yeah,
it's the old converted train station, and that's a very dog friendly place. Which is all right until one time I was in there and I saw a dog cocking its leg against the fucking fiction G to J.
Imagine if you were an author and you saw a dog pissing on your book.
I am an author.
No, but I mean, imagine if you went in there and you saw it pissing on your book.
On my books?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do sell some of my books in there. Actually, I've seen them. What's the protocol if you go like a charity shop or something and they're selling a copy of a book you've written? Do you like go up to the counter and say, "I'll sign this for you if you care," and then you'll be able to sell it for a higher price?
No. No,
I've
never done that. No, I never I wouldn't sign it unless they invited you down. I do tell the local bookshop if I've got a book coming out, because then they do local author display in the window.
Right.
And then if they have a local author display in the window, what I'll do is I'll make sure I'm hanging around quite a lot that week, buy it, but make out it's just by coincidence. Go, you're right, that is my book.
I'd forgotten that was published this week.
And then
so long since I wrote it.
Try to engage people in it, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah. Or you could just stand there and just flick through it idly and just go.
Yeah.
a wonderful insight there. This writer's very pithy.
Who is it, you say? Oh, well, why, madam? It's me.
J.R. Hartley. I could sign this copy for you if you care.
Yeah, nah. But, yeah, well, I'll maybe take my dog up the bookshop when I get it. I'll try out the dog in all the different places, all my local haunts, and see what happens. Yeah. It's quite a dog area where I live.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like it won't be any problem with a dog. Well, it will be in that every time I go out there will be other dogs. So if my dog turns out to be confrontational, it could be problematic. Yeah. But
are you planning on going to a dog training school?
Don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My brother's dog Lottie, the lurcher, right? Who lives in the countryside now.
Who you love very much.
I love her, and she goes to like a dog. It's not training because she's not a puppy anymore, right? She must be about 2 years old, but she just goes to this like sort of dog. It's like a dog youth club, right?
Dog gang. And
these two lads run it, right? And it's just for socialising, right? Because she's very, very sociable. I think I told you before, there's another dog that lives next door, and it just comes round and knocks for her. That's the way it is in the country, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not in a street. It's a tiny little hamlet, so there's a house here, and then just over there there's another house, but there's no rhyme or reason to it in the countryside, is there? There's no house numbers or anything. And so one dog just comes over, and it comes to the front door, I'm not joking, and it just barks. And when it barks, she sits up in her basket, and she just runs. If it's summer, the door's open anyway, and she just runs out, and then they just run around in circles in the garden with each other for fucking ages. Brilliant. And they like play. It's so nice. So she's a very, very social. She needs constant interaction. So she goes to this club, and they just play with each other. And like my sister-in-law showed me videos of them, like of her at the club, just having a great time, right?
Yeah.
And the most amazing thing about this dog club she goes to, right, is that these blokes who run it, I don't know what their fucking magic or mystery is, right? But you know, like, do you remember at like playgroup or nursery, they used to give you like nap time when you were very little, right? Everyone having a These cunts do it with the dogs, and I didn't believe it. But I saw a video, and like, first my sister-in-law showed me a video of Lottie arriving, and she lets her off the lead, and she sees all her mates, and she just fucking charges at them, and they all go and start playing, like having a laugh together, right? And I think that's great. Then she showed me another video of it later on in the day, and they're just sort of still playing with each other, doing some sort of activity. And I thought, these dogs are crazy, but they're having the best time. Then she went, now look at this, what happens halfway through the day, and showed me it, and it was inside. And there was about, I'm not joking, mate, there was about 7 dogs of various sizes and breeds, all just lying on pillows asleep in the same room.
Brilliant.
And they all sleep for like half an hour, 40 minutes, and then they just get up. How would you do that? How did these breeders make them all fall asleep?
Dogs do sleep a fuck lot of the time.
Do they?
I mean, Oscar does. Oscar sleeps most of the day, but once you've had them out and you've exercised the living daylights out of them, and they're all spent, it's a natural thing for them to do. They're all going to just topple over and pass out, It's just like with kids.
Yeah, all my kitten, like Bobby the kitten, he's only got 2 settings. He's either going fucking nuts, like really super busy. Do you know what he did the other day? We've got this painting of Nelson, right? That we didn't get after he died. My wife got it for me a couple of Christmases ago, and it's one of these ones where you get a portrait of your cat, but he's done up like in sort of regal attire.
Oh, he's wearing the uniform and everything. Yeah. Oh, I love them.
So I've had that for a while, and I've got it in a nice frame. And long before he died, I had it pride of place in the living room, right? But then when he died, I moved it down to be more central. Just it wasn't going to be permanent, but for a few months, I sort of like put it. I put it on the unit where the TV stuff is, right?
Yeah.
So it was like more visible. You never guess what he did. Fucking Bobby gets up there the other day, gives it one of these. Oh, whoops! Smack! Knocks the picture of fucking Nelson over, face down onto the floor. Yeah.
No way.
My son was practically crying about it. I felt pretty emotional. And I looked at Bobby, and he sort of looked back to me as if to just go, whoops.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Accidents can happen.
Oh, dear. Look what happened. That picture of that old cat what died has fallen over. Oh, well, you're probably thinking of chucking it out anyway and getting one done of me, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can expect some repercussions from Nelson's ghost, I think, at some point.
I think so, yeah. I think so.
It'll not be immediate, because knowing him like I did, he won't,
Nelson will bide his time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Revenge is a dish best served cold.
Did I tell you that the vet, we waited a couple of weeks and then we got the ashes, Nelson's ashes, in a tube, which we then had a memorial service and scattered his ashes into a new pot plant in the garden, right?
Right.
And anyway, that was nice. And then, a few days after that, we got something in the post, and it was a really lovely card from the vet saying, with our condolences for the loss of Nelson, right? And I thought, oh, that's nice. But there was a paw print on it, and the paw print was in red, like blood. And I'm like, is that actually Nelson's bloody paw print? First of all...
Why was he bloodied?
There was no blood on him when I fucking handed him over at the vet.
Yeah.
From what I could tell, he had a very peaceful death, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know where they got the blood from. But either way, I thought, that's a bit grim. But that aside, I tell you what else was in with the envelope. There was a small bottle, like the kind of bottle you might get in a Victorian pharmacy, with
potion bottle.
Yes, with a little cork in it, right? Very small, about the size of like a thumb, right? And a thimble. That was what I was looking for. It was the size of a thimble with a little cork inside, like something from Alice in Wonderland, right? Ooh. Do you know what was in it? Some of Nelson's fur.
Ooh, that's a nice touch.
So now we've got that on the shelf, but the reactions that, I was like, again, I was like, I don't know, did you did you remove fur from my dead cat?
Did you give them permission to clip some fur off of him?
No, or use his paw to sign a card. Yeah, exactly. But we're certain it's his because it's his colour, and so now we've got it. But I don't know. I mean, it's a bit like when you had that bag of hair on the live tour, guys. Listeners, if you missed out on the live tour, there's a little hint for just the quality of stuff you missed out on. A bag full of Andy's hair every night.
I didn't want to spoiler it because that'll be around probably for the next leg. But I've also added some more hair to it since then. Oh, good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, as you said every night, you said no one try and steal this hair because it's got your DNA and they could clone it.
Yeah.
So my daughter's very into the idea that we could somehow clone Nelson because we still have some of his hair.
Well, you could. I'm sure you could.
She's also expressed concerns that Bobby might try and fucking mess with the bottle and eat the fur or something disgusting.
Do you have a safe in the house? Because I think it needs to be kept in a safe.
At the moment, it's just on display. Maybe that's too risky, especially with the way Bobby's been acting.
Yeah, I'd secure that fur if you can.
Yeah.
But have you also got an original Nelson paw print in your records? That
no,
you can
I don't.
Compare it with.
No, I don't have it. I mean, I've got this one in the card, but I just don't know whether it's his or not. I like to think it isn't. And if it isn't, and they just do a generic one, I would say, why are they doing it in blood red? It's a bit upsetting.
Exactly, that's my question. What's that about? What's the message there? Well,
so, well done, vets, but maybe think a bit more carefully about the way you do these tributes.
It seems like a slightly weird vets that you've got yourself embroiled with.
Weird vet, yeah.
But I think a lot of vets are probably weird.
I'm sure we've got some vet listeners that have been in touch in the past.
Oh, and I've just said they're weird. Oh, Christ.
Oh, no. Pharmacists all over again.
Fuck me. Right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll just draw a line under it there because we're not going to get any further with Rhubarb this time.
But we will next time.
We will do. We will do next time. We'll have a look at maybe the theme tune or something like that next time. What
a theme tune.
Yeah. So that's it from this one. Thanks for joining us in what's been.
Thanks for indulging us.
Yeah. And we'll be back with more very, very soon. Thank you very much. Bye.
All the best. Bye-bye.